In this tutorial, we'll cover the basics of getting started using the OptiSigns platform. The first thing we'll do is get logged in at app.optisigns.com/sign-in. When you log in, the first thing you'll see is the screen management page. Screens refer to the endpoint devices that are running the OptiSigns app that will be displaying your content. OptiSigns is hardware agnostic, meaning that it runs on most devices and platforms. For a full list of supported devices, visit optisigns.com/download. Let's walk through how to pair a screen to your account. Depending on the device you want to use, you may need to download the OptiSigns app to that device, in which case you would just search for the OptiSigns app in your device's app store and install it. If you plan on using a mobile device as a screen, like an iOS or Android tablet, keep in mind you'll see two OptiSigns apps in your app store. One is the OptiSigns app that allows your screen to display content remotely from OptiSigns. The other is the OptiSigns admin app. This app works as an extension of the OptiSigns web portal that helps remotely manage the content and screens within your OptiSigns account. In short, one's for display, the other's for managing. For our purposes here, we're referring to the OptiSigns app for display. If you're looking for even more control of your screens, OptiSigns offers dedicated players, like our OptiStick, that can convert any screen into a dynamic digital display. If you're using an OptiSigns player, just plug it into your device's HDMI port and connect the power to a wall outlet. Once you've launched the app or connected a player to your device, you'll need to connect it to Wi-Fi. Once the OptiSigns app or player successfully connects to Wi-Fi, you'll get a 6-digit pairing code like this. For this demonstration, we'll use the simple web player as a stand-in for a device. The web player is a useful tool for testing and previewing content before it's pushed to an actual screen, but should not be used to deploy content and is not a suitable substitute for a device. Now that we're logged in and have our test screen up, it's time to pair the screen with our account. You will need to repeat this process each time you add a new screen to your account. You must pair a screen to your account before you can push content to it. Pairing a screen is as simple as clicking Add Screen and entering that 6-digit code. The code is case sensitive, so keep that in mind when you're typing into the field. Click Pair, and your screen will update to show that it is now synced to your account. If it's your first time adding a screen to your account, you'll be guided through assigning content to that screen. There are 3 types of content you can assign to a screen: an asset, playlist, or a schedule. An asset is a single standalone piece of content like an image, document, or app. A playlist is a group of assets that will rotate in a desired order and rotation. A schedule is a more advanced option that allows you to set days and times you want to display your content and can be a combination of assets and/or playlists. More on playlists and schedules in a little bit. For now, we'll select Asset. Since we don't have any content in this account, we're given the option of uploading files or creating content with an app or feed. I'll choose Upload Files. You'll be given some options on where you'd like to upload the files from. You can also drag and drop your files right into this menu. For this example, I'll upload from my device. I have some assets ready to go that are comprised of images, a video, and a PowerPoint slide deck. I'll select all of them, click to open, and then upload. The files are now uploaded into my account and ready to use. I'll select one of these files to assign to my screen and click Save. Once I've done that, I should see that asset immediately appear on my paired screen, so I know everything is working as it should. Let's quickly review some options we have with screens. You can, of course, edit the name of your screen, but a really useful option is tags. Tags help you sort and group screens, which makes pushing content across multiple screens really easy. For a deeper explanation of screen tags, check out our screen management walkthrough. You can also adjust your scale options to better fit your content to your display if needed, and orientation in the event you need to rotate your content, such as using a screen in portrait mode. I'll click Save, which will take me to the Screens tab. As we discussed earlier, there are 3 main ways to assign content to your screens in OptiSigns: Files and Assets, Playlists, and Schedules. Let's go back to the Files and Assets tab. We can see the files that we uploaded are here, but another type of content that we can use as an asset in OptiSigns is an app. OptiSigns offers over 160 apps and integrations that allow you a wide variety of content options, including third-party integrations like Microsoft and Google, Canva, social media, and even add background music using our optional OptiSound platform. For a more in-depth look at apps, check out our video on asset management. As a quick example, I'll choose the Weather app. You just need to give it a name, choose the location, and adjust any of the fields to your needs. One of the most important features built into each OptiSigns app is the Help button. Clicking the Help button will open a corresponding support article that goes through features, any limitations, and best practices for that specific app. These articles are updated all the time, so you always have the latest support documentation at your fingertips. I'll save and close this app. You'll now see the Weather app is included with your other files as an asset. In our first example, we assigned or pushed content to our screen from the Screens menu, but you can also push content to your screen directly from an asset. Just hover over an asset, click the three dots, and select Push to Screen. You'll see an option to target by screens, but you can also target by screen tags. For this example, I'll target screens. In the Screens field, you'll see a drop-down of all the paired screens in your account. I'll choose the screen we paired and click Push. That asset will now display on my screen. The next option will be to create a playlist of content by navigating to the Playlist tab. Playlists allow you to push a group of rotating assets to a screen. Since we don't have any playlists yet, this middle field will be blank. We can create a playlist by clicking Create Playlist. Give the playlist a name. You can click outside the name field when you're done, and the change will automatically be saved. Loading content into your playlist is very straightforward. All the files and assets from the previous tab are displayed in the right margin. Simply click and drag the assets you'd like to include in your playlist. You can click Save Now, but it will also autosave just like the name field. Assigning a playlist to a screen is very similar to how we assigned an asset to a screen. Select Push to Screens, choose the screen you want to push to, and select Push. Now our playlist will start playing on the paired screen. You can adjust how long each asset displays before it moves on to the next piece of content. Once the last asset is played, it will restart at the beginning in a continuous loop. For a more in-depth look at playlists, check out our video on managing playlists. Our last option to display content is schedules. Just like in playlists, we'll need to create a schedule first. Schedules allows you to display days and times you'd like blocks of content to display. Just click and drag to create a schedule block. We'll choose 7 a.m. to noon. Once we've done that, we can choose whether we want an asset or a playlist to display during that time. For this example, I'll select the PowerPoint slide deck to display. You can adjust the duration here, which determines how long it will take to rotate through the entire deck. You can click Save when you're done, but keep in mind your schedule won't start until you assign it to a screen. Depending on your specific use case, you may want to fill in gaps around scheduled blocks of content. You can accomplish this in OptiSigns by choosing Default Content. Click on the gear icon, select your default asset or playlist. We'll choose an asset and select Weather, and click Save. Now, if your screen is on but you don't have any content scheduled, your screen will default to displaying the weather. Now that we've got a schedule, we can assign it to a screen by clicking the Push to Screens icon. Once again, we'll target by screens, select our paired screen, and click Push. Now our PowerPoint slide deck will display during the assigned time block. Just to show the default content in action, I'll delete the time block. Just click on the block and select Delete. When it saves, you'll see the screen display the weather by default. For a more detailed walkthrough of schedules, check out our video guide to managing schedules. That's it for getting started with OptiSigns. To get the most out of your OptiSigns experience, subscribe to the channel and check out our OptiSigns 101 playlist on YouTube.